shall be changed to 50-50 gender balance. Instead of ranking 78th, that is 91st rank in the community of nations. The presidency and the vice presidency shall be changed to gender balance, and this shall be retroactive to the year 2000, when humanity had a chance for millennium that was rejected and retarded by the functioning of the Fourth Estate in the United States. We demand that the media cover the 20 years of stories of events at the United Nations and the Interparliamentary Union and governments around the world to bring forth gender balance and inform the American public of the paradigm changes in genuine progress indicator instead of GDP that they have been keeping secret from the American public now for over 20 years. We encourage all of the members of the media to do a Gender Truth and Reconciliation Commission with the public. And we do this on your behalf, because if you don't make these changes now, not only will you die on top, you will kill millions and billions of people with you, but you will not extend your lives one iota. You will simply die on top of the heap of patriarchy, embedded patriarchy, instead of gender balance. That is, when it is accepted by either females or males, destroying the human race and destroying the humanity and the human family and community and risking its imminent destruction. This morning I received a telephone call of solicitation from a woman in the Cheyenne regions of the United States that is being consumed by forest fires. This is the Mother Earth giving us our warning. All governments, the United States government, the indigenous peoples' governments, all the tribes and the nations of the world must become gender balanced. We will be the media, putting this out on YouTube and every venue on the internet that we can find, and we will make sure that it does get out, even though there will be an attempted censorship possibly. We don't know. And we offer this declaration for every day, for every national election and every national holiday. If the United States women had been told of the Egyptian Women's Charter and the candidacy for presidents of Bethia Kamel in Egypt, the Egyptian revolution would have succeeded. But the American people were not told of the Egyptian Women's Charter worked out with Michelle Bachelet at the United Nations, and so we couldn't help what failed. We don't recognize the recent election in Egypt. We don't recognize the recent election in Greece, where the media has also withheld the facts of gender balance from the people for years. We recognize Erika Karmanu and other women of Greece and the men that they choose who favor gender balance as the true government. Subsequently, we have an upcoming election in India. India has passed a 33% requirement for women in the presence of the national parliament. It already has in its lower house. It already has passed a 50-50 requirement in its villages under the Panchayat Raj village rule and a representation of minorities. We say no matter what the upper house or the lower house of India does, whatever the Lok Sabha does, the women like Nazma Heptula and Sonia Gandhi, who sat in for weeks for gender balance in that government, and those sit-ins were never exposed to the American people because our media was not functioning. And we were being distracted by Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton instead. And at the same time that the French were doing their parity laws and getting 50-50 in their political parties, and we were distracted by Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky instead. And Mr. Clinton knows it, and Mrs. Clinton knows it. And Mrs. Clinton ran for president without once mentioning the Beijing guidelines for women. It's time that Mr. Clinton and Mrs. Clinton got their gender balance act together. Who are they really working for? It certainly isn't the American people yet. We asked Mrs. Clinton to get good therapy copy from Jean Shinoda Boland, a Jungian therapist who is working on gender balance, and Jean Houston, and find out why she is letting her husband turn her into the co-opted female of the United States that is denying the votes of millions of people who voted for her, and instead of finding herself as a president or vice president, is taking a pass on the whole thing. We're not letting that happen anymore, and we are calling out women like Stephanie Chirac of Emily's List, who makes a big play at saying it's a great thing that she gets 16% or 20% women in office. That is less than Afghanistan, Iraq, and the United Arab Emirates. These games on the American female's mind have to stop, and they have to stop being played by CEOs and the politicians that work for them. We are calling the game, and we are doing this on behalf of the entire Earth. The Earth is in imminent danger. Big Brother will only last a few months before the planet is destroyed. It will not last. It is unsustainable. But Big Brother, the eye of the Cyclops, does not know that. He's too drunk with power and hoarding of money to know what really counts on Earth. And he has found too many women who are willing to co-opt and enable this game instead of call it for what it is. We want to say something else about our protests at 2020 M Street, Millennium Street in Washington, D.C., where CBS is located, where the local offices of Mr. Moonves' patriarchy and female co-opted patriarchy are located. Only if the governments of the United States and the world produce 50-50 that should be retroactive to the millennial year 2000 and redo and postpone elections that fail to offer 50-50, will humanity be around in 2020 in a peaceful, sustainable world? If not, we on Earth will mostly all be dead from the mistakes by the year 2020, by the mistakes of patriarchy. Or at best, we will have 2020 hindsight that is too late for us to do anything about the cascading avalanche of catastrophes that our lack of 2020 foresight in the years 2000, 2004, 2008, and let alone 2012, without gender 50-50 in the world's most influential of all countries, have caused. Instead, be the media, until we can take back the fourth branch of the government, the media, and send us and these women's and good men's declarations and files to every corner of the planet Earth. And we will now play the file that we, of the recording at the CBS headquarters. Wait one moment, we're just pulling it up on the internet so you can hear it, on the computer so you can hear it. We went to the door with pots and pans, our sacred pots and pans announcement, and we made a lot of noise. And we're asking the women of the world to call in not only to CBS but to NBC and